Alrighty then. I've caught up on chat. We have a cat. What do you think about that? I believe that it is going to be... it is going to be time to begin looking at the Astral Self Monk. I mean, we also are going to be looking at Cat Butt, too, so... Does anyone want to hear the ragtag team that my soon-to-start campaign has? Yeah, share it, Shukan. Let us know what's going on at your tabletop, or at least what will happen. Alright, so we went over the primal path, the path of the wild soul. Ah, and so that's a YouTube subscription. Jose Ferreira, thank you very much for the YouTube subscription. We made our two level 14 barbarians so that we could explore that subclass. And tonight we are going to explore the monastic tradition of the way of the astral self. Are you leaving? Bye. Bye. All right, there he goes. Say bye, everyone. Hey, Neo Realms. Hello, hello. Pop back into the Discord chat, and I thought, oh yeah, just a cat. Ours. It's just a cat. Although everyone, our art teacher has arrived, so we're sitting at our desks, and we have to give that good evening, Mr. Although I would like to imagine that your students are a lot more responsive than losing energy by the end of the greeting for the day. They have way too much energy. All right, so very good. Oh, I told you this is gonna be a zany show. You had him compete in Pictionary. Ooh. Lawful evil kobold, wild magic sorcerer, cat a good pixie artificer, wearing their mechanical marvel as an exosuit, a chaotic neutral tabaxi barbarian wielding a great axe, and I can't remember their alignment, tiefling warlock. I haven't decided their patron yet. And when in doubt, roll a d3. Well, technically there's more than just the 3. If you're playing with stuff like Unearthed Arcana or whatever, you have a lot of options. Yeah, there's more than the 3. You're correct, Shukan. Now, monks, speaking of things like Unearthed Arcana, monks of the way of the astral self have an internal struggle with their key. They see their mystical energy as a representation of their true form, an astral self. This form has the capacity to be a force of good or destruction, with some monasteries training students to either temper their nature or embrace their impulses. The astral self is a translucent embodiment of the monk's psyche and soul. As a result, the form of an astral self reflects the mind of the monk who manifests it. Your astral self could be a humanoid knight with a helmeted face and large muscular arms, or it could be a golden metallic form with thin arms like a modron. When choosing this path, consider the quirks that define your monk. Are they obsessed with something? Are you driven by justice or a selfish desire? Any of these motivations could manifest in the form of your astral self. Hey Grimvex, welcome. Good morning to you. Now, what does this mean? It means we are playing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because all of our monks have stands now. I'm afraid so, Shukan. We are now playing D&D JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, whereas we made the barbarians level 14 before, we are going to make 17th level monks, which honestly, probably, I don't know, off camera or whatnot, I should probably bring the barbarians up to 17 then. That way, when we do the party comparison, we have a better apples to apples. But I put it to 14, so at least we'd see the capstone in character creation for the subclass, or the archetype, whatever you want to call it. I did not watch Naruto, so unfortunately, Shukan, I didn't get that part of the reference. Oh, or we're Persona. All right, so everyone, it's not... So we've just determined that Persona and Naruto are JoJo's references. Now, honestly, though, look at it however you want in this regard. You know, tie it to an anime, tie it to whatever you'd like. Though we're going to be making these astral aspects of ourselves. I mean, make it a Pokemon, right? Send out your Pokemon to fight on your behalf. Alright, so there's all of this other stuff, but this is getting into the mechanics. That's the intro, is that we're fighting with this, our inner energy is going to manifest and help us in combat. So up here, we're going to make a 17th level character. Or it's obviously a Digimon. No, well, there we go. All right. There we go. We have our... Oh, if any of you, by the way, want to look at this PDF, it is available for free as playtest material. Playtest material at the link provided. We have our handy-dandy character randomizer. And we're going to start rolling. Let's do this, huh? I'm gonna roll a percentile set, and we're gonna keep going down the line here. All right, so we have a female. Now it's time for the race. It's a 1d9. We have a female gnome, a rock gnome, a female rock gnome. And I'm going to use the balanced odds for the for the personality expression or the alignment here. 87. We have a neutral evil female rock gnome that we're going to generate at level 17. And now I'm going to roll to determine if we're replacing any of the ability score improvements with feats. In fact, we're taking all feats in this case. Feats at every level, at every time that we can. So now that we have a good amount of info here, we have a female rock gnome. This is going to be a monk astral or astral self. Rock gnomes are small, SMOL. We are neutral evil. And we're going to be taking some feats here. So we have level 4, level 8, level 12, and level 16. Hey, O'Sheeps, welcome. And now we're rolling, says Walleye. Call her Pebble, says Neo Realms. A player in my first campaign had simultaneously pressured me to use and made me scared of using Unearthed Arcana. Well, I mean, never feel pressure from a player. It's your game. But Unearthed Arcana is deliberately expressed as playtest material that is absolutely optional. And they put it out there because it's not finished product. I mean, it's solid. but there can be exploits. There's all sorts of stuff. Like, we're finding interesting interactions with the barbarians last night. We weren't even trying to min-max either. Yes, there are large monsters that are in the Ravnica boxes, Donnie. And I have one Ravnica that is the last of that brick, and off screen I have a sealed brick, which is 8 boxes. I have a sealed brick of Ravnica as well. Yes, there is always a large monster. Well, there's a large creature. I don't like if you call a Ledev Guardian a monster, it is a direwolf, but it has maybe more of an NPC or a PC riding it. But yeah, every box has a large creature in it. So if you're taking a look at it, so you go to Ravnica here, and you wanted to see what was inside, every box will have, this is where it starts with the larges. And by the way, these are not common tier, these are uncommon. This is a mistake on the site's part. So here are your larges that are uncommons, and then there's also larges down here at the bottom that are uncommons. And I believe I still have a Niv Mizzet at the store. So if you want a gargantuan, well, red and blue if we go by magic colors, a gargantuan dragon, I should have one of these at the store also. Shukan refilled it earlier. All right, now what about her background? There are 13, though if you expand with all the options, there are 18 different backgrounds that we can choose from. And by choose, I mean we're going to generate an 18-sided die. Whoop. Why isn't this working? Did I turn numlock off? Hey, I did. An 18-sided die. 12. We are a noble or a knight. Well, I mean, if we're just looking at noble, then it's noble or a knight. In this case, we're rolling into the fact that she is a knight that we're going to find in the noble section. Okay, we don't need this any longer. Actually, let me double check real quick. Yeah, there's nothing special there. Now, we are going to get a choice, though. We are going to get a choice of either position of privilege or to have, like, a retinue that follows her around. Anyway. Our class, well, I don't get to roll the golden D12 here because we're locking in a monk, and specifically, Way of the Astral Self monk. Yeah, Hark, yeah, it happens. The dono pool, it's like a give a penny, take a penny. You know, if you see, you know, if you see one of those at a cash register, you know, you can use it for your purchase. You can always add to it as well. So the only rule is you tell me how much you want to use and towards what. There's nothing stopping Black Wolf if you said I want you know, 10 capsules, then, you know, and you use up all of the money in there yourself. Yeah, it can't go below 0. That's up to you. If you want to blow out the pool for 10 capsules, you can. Of course, you know, then what? I'll pull the capsules. I mean, the capsule's already paid for, so. Yes, it is the JoJo slash Persona monk. Embercelia. Welcome. Good evening or good morning to you. Yeah, you can, Black Wolf. It's gonna have to wait until I finish this this build, though. We are exploring that Unearthed Arcana, and we're making characters based on it. We're rolling up random attributes to the characters for it. And so we've only just begun. So far, what we've generated is that we have a female rock gnome, neutral evil in alignment, who is a knight, or the noble variant in background. And of course, we're locking her in as an astral monk at level 17. That way we can see the capstone of her archetype, or her subclass. Alright, so we have our class. There's no class features that we roll for. And so the only thing left to do for some random number generation here, we have a forest gnome. Well, we're going to go down here and we're going to see if anything modifies. I don't think it will. But if we go to rock gnome on the pull down menu, you see right here, bada boom. And any of this would change if we were going, flip-flopping between races. And I'm going to now roll a percentile set, and we're going to find out where in her life cycle she is. I rolled an 83, so she is old. Now, old to a rock gnome is 325 plus 1d82 years. So I'm going to make an 82-sided die, and we're going to add 325 to it and roll it. So she is old at 345 years. The base height for a rock gnome, I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit here. The base height for a rock gnome is 2 feet 11 inches, and I'm going to roll 2d4, and we're going to add those inches to her height. 6. So she is 3'5". We're going to take this same 6 and multiply it by the weight modifier and add it to a base weight of 35. So she is 3'5" at 41 pounds. Oh, there we go. No, she is a forest gnome. Ah, yes, the D82, my favorite, says Ember. Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to put down that D82. All right, Hark, so that stuff will have to wait until we finish the character creation. But you two have kind of queued up in line for it. Oh, with the donation pool? Shukan, can you please explain to Ember what the donation pool is? And while we're here, actually, let's make some placeholders for 2 personality traits. Well, I rolled 1 and 1. All right, there we go. 1 and 7. 1 and 7. Then an ideal bond and flaw, which is 422. And there we go. And now, as we do with all of our characters, I want to begin making our character with the background first, because the background is what makes your character have character. Yeah, she's a monk. That's great. Yeah, she's a rock gnome. Fantastic. The what what kind of a person is she? Anyone can train to be a monk, you know, and rock gnomes are born to be rock gnomes. She's not the only rock gnome that exists. Though she's the only rock gnome monk that has this kind of experience. The decisions that she makes, the things that she believes in, works towards. Can we consider the choices that she would make? Yes, Ember Celia, you can use it to pull from the gacha. If you don't already have a box or a shipping paid for with something else, then it would take an extra $3 in order to create a box of shipping out minis to you. We're going to fast forward. These are listed alphabetically, so we're going to go to N for Noble. Because the Knight is a variant off of that. Though that's not going to change our personality trait and such. Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's take a look at who she is, right? This is molded off of her key. What are the things that she believes? Who is she? You know, the background for a character like this could very much influence a person's astral self. Clearly not a stand, or a persona, or a Pokemon, or a Digimon, or, you know, whatever. The 3 could come out of the Dono pool, Ember Celia. I'm sorry, I've been mispronouncing your name. I'm a little bleary. It's Ember Celica. And I remember you actually applauded me for pronouncing it correctly the first time. It's been a long day, so forgive me, Ember, for continuing to mispronounce it until I just caught it. Ember Celica. Not Ember Celia. Ember Celica. I have not watched Ruby, so unfortunately the reference escapes me, Black Wolf. I keep picturing her retainers being these additional astral bodyguard forms, and you know what? If we go retainer, I think we can entertain something like that. Oh, so it's not a... This is why English is dumb. So it's Ember Celisa? So it's a soft C and not a hard C. Ember Celisa. Or Lissa. Ember Celissa? Alright, so what are we... I told you, we're gonna have a fun night tonight if I'm getting loopy. Shukan's just gonna call you Shotgun Gauntlets. Yeah, this stream is... let's forget Unearthed Arcana. This is just now name pronouncing with Matt. Be me, prone to migraines, quitting caffeine with a 4-year-old. My head is gonna explode. You can do it. Stay hydrated. Flush all that stuff out of your body. I've already pronounced it Celica, but Celisa is an interesting pronunciation. Yeah, I mean, you let me know how you want it, but, Ember Celica. Alright. Gotcha. We have some... I'm going to scoot this over a little bit so we can fill this in. We have skill proficiencies in history and persuasion. That way we know our noble houses, our coats of arms. We get a tool proficiency in some kind of a gaming set. We'll get a language of our choice, and as a gnome, we speak Common, Gnomish, and one other. From the background, we get the one other. And equipment, we get a set of fine clothies. We get a signet ring. We get a scroll of pedigree. And a purse containing 25 gold pieces. Now, the feature, this is where it can get interesting. You get position of privilege. Well, for knight, it suggests going retainers. However, nobles can get retainers instead of position of privilege. And honestly, I think a knight can have a position of privilege. Because if you're a knight that's a general, other people are going to listen to you. You may not be royalty or some other nobility, but the nobles are going to invite you to their dinners. They're going to want to get their opinion or your opinion from you. They're going to want to rub elbows with the most powerful person in that regard. And so, as we build the character, we can... let's consider, is she going to be more of a position of privilege, or is she going to be more of a retainer knight? Now, what about her personality? What's going on with that? We learned by her alignment, she's neutral evil, so she expresses herself in kind of a neutral fashion. This, in a way, if we're making anime references, we have an archetype. Now, she's obviously old in age, but we have the archetype that I like calling like the trifling lolly. In this case, so it's the young woman who oftentimes has blonde drill hair or something along those lines, who comes out and and she's all manipulative and she's like she's in control and trying to pit people against each other. So we kind of have this trifling gnome, who's this noble. If you want to give her drill hair, you can give her drill hair. A himedari, yeah, a himedari, perhaps though with more of a selfish bend, that is going to look out for herself more often than others. Yeah, himedari is more of a princess, and here we have a knight. But you know what? Let's explore her personality before we start giving her dairies. Because for all we know, she might turn into soon dairy soon. All right, what is personality trait number 1? My eloquent flattery makes everyone I talk to feel like the most wonderful and important person in the world. And personality trait number 7. My favor, once lost, is lost forever. My favor, once lost, is lost forever. Now, what is her ideal? Her ideal we rolled is number 4. If I can attain more power, no one will tell me what to do. So she is tired of having other people command her around. And she wants to sit in the seat to tell other people what to do for a change. You know, God's darn it, she's earned it. She's 345 years old. She's fought on how many battlefields? She's developed this astral self technique, or learned it from some ancient master. Next up, what is her bond? We rolled number 2. My house's alliance with another noble family must be sustained at all costs, even if there are active agents within or without of either house that are seeking to undermine it. She still has a vested interest in at least keeping the facade from crumbling, even if the contents beneath it are rotting. Ember says, this character's attributes seem really cohesive. I think she's coming together quite well. Your Sunday campaign is 2 nobles. At the beginning of the campaign, the party was shipwrecked, so I had them roll to lose off their starting equipment. One lost their signet ring, the other lost the scroll of pedigree. Now no one will know. All right, next up, or lastly in the personality, well, not the personality, but the background, we have our flaw. Because we are all flawed creatures, even if we're neutral evil, princess style, like I want to rule the Zaworodo. And her flaw is, I hide a truly scandalous secret that could ruin my family forever. Now, you mix that in with the bond, and could that be why she has to maintain the facade? What in this case, right? What in this case happened? As a dungeon master, when your players hand you their sheets filled in, especially with their backgrounds, you get so much content handed to you to build the world and the story and to make it engaging to your players. Now, could that secret be how she obtained her powers? Ooh. Could be. Could it be a secret lover from days gone by? You know, if not a lover, a love child. Or what if she squandered family fame or fortune in some way? Or she owes someone something. Blackmail, so that when she eventually rises to the top, she doesn't have to deal with the blackmail. Yeah, she might be out on a mission to eliminate the people who have the blackmail on her. Exactly, Ember. Now, here's something else to consider. If we said, especially with Barina the Feybound here, if this is effectively a pact with an Archfey that's not a Warlock pact, but something that's, for intents and purposes, very similar. What if being granted this ability, this astral self, might also not reflect a Great Old One pact? Right? Could that be a secret that she dealt? Or, I guess, a fiend, if you want. But that she dealt with a patron that gave her these powers in exchange for something, and that's the secret? Do you see the rich, fertile soil that we have here to plant the seeds of our ideas and watch them grow before us? This is why I love this process and going over it with you all. Now, if we want to assign her background feature that's either position of privilege or retainers, we can. Though, I don't know. Let's keep building her out some. Let's find out a little bit more about her and discover more before we make this decision. Now, Rytel did say, you know, if we did go retainers, maybe there are aspects of her, you know, maybe there are other aspects, you know, that they follow her around in this kind of, you know, mechanically they're per the retainers, but there are these creatures that are born from her to serve her, kind of a thing. All right, so we have a character. We've learned more about who she is, how she makes decisions, things that she likes or doesn't like. It's prompted us to think and to come up with stories that sound cohesive, as we're still continuing to try and piece together the character bit by bit. Now that we have our background material, let's pop over to rock gnomes and find out what do they get. Now, gnomes, just for being a gnome, get a +2 intelligence boost. We already have our age and alignment. We have our size. Our base walking speed is 25 feet. I'm not going to fill that in because we're going to get a boost to that as a monk. We do get 60 feet of dark vision, and we have advantage on all int, wisdom, charisma saving throws. And, you know, by being a monk, we're going to be proficient in everything. And then on top of the proficiency, for half of our saves, we are going to be, we're going to be taking advantage. So we're going to put this versus mental saves to abbreviate it. Is that even abbreviating? I don't know. Int, whiz, cha? Maybe not. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. And we already have our languages. Now, the sub-race. As a rock gnome, our constitution score increases by 1. And we get Artificer's Lore. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to magic items, alchemical objects, or technological devices, you can add twice your proficiency bonus instead of any proficiency bonus you normally apply. And, I mean, we already get proficiency in history, but when it comes to those things, we're super proficient. And we are also a tinker, which is something else to consider. What are the little toys that she has made to carry around? And if not toys, then tools. And if not tools, then toys. Something that's a little clockwork toy, a little fire starter, or a music box are suggestions. And there we go, everyone. That's what you get for being a gnome. Nice and easy, huh? Gotta take a pill and sit in the dark till my head feels better. Be back later. Yeah, feel better, Donnie. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's gonna be quick, Ember. Now going to that, we are now going to build our monk. And this is just what all monks get regardless of the subclass. And we're going to take it to 17. This way we know what the capstone ability is for the archetype. We see that our proficiency bonus is a +6. Our martial arts are a D10. We get 17 key points. And as Ember said, right here when we see unarmored movement, we add 25 to our 25 and we get 50. So we are going to get a 25, 25, and 0 for the other movements. Although, honestly, some things like climb are going to be really either not an issue or non-existent for monks. What else? Unarmored movement, key points. Okay. We are a D8 hit die class. And as we're level 17, we get 17 of them. What a quinky dink. And that represents our own ability to resolve ourselves between combats or whenever we take a rest. We have no armor proficiencies. And we are proficient with simple weapons and short swords. And we do get to choose one type of artisan tools or one type of musical instrument. Well, let's see. So she gets a gaming set for being this noble or this knight. I wonder then if she does. Oh, you know what? Being a tinker does give her proficiency with tinker tools. I gotta put that up here. Oh, that's cool. All right, well, yeah. Please pass them back along, Shukan. So would she be the one to make something? She's probably the one to perform. I think that she wants the attention. She wants the professionalism. She wants to be able to step up and make something beautiful beyond just the tinker's tools. Now, if you have another suggestion, let me know. But I'm going to put musical instrument as kind of a placeholder. All right, strength and dex are going to be our saving throw proficiencies. Then we get to choose 2 skills from acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. Eloquent flattery. Well, I mean, that kind of comes with persuasion. But we don't really have a charisma. But we're talking about feelings and manipulating people's feelings by what we say. So insight could be very important. Let's see. If I can attain more power, no one can tell me what to do. House's alliance with another noble family must be sustained, but we already have history. So that would have, I think, been taken care of. Religion, possibly. Religion could possibly go into this as well. Both with her upbringing in this noble's service, or as a noble herself, but, you know, as the not primary heir, she was one of the kids that was sent to the clergy or to the military and such. So religion could come in handy, which could even go into a part of she hides this truly scandalous secret. I don't see her as being like proficient in stealth, because I think she wants to be seen. She wants to be known. She's a mover and a shaker. She's not a behind the scenes person. I think insight and religion are going to be the way forward for her. And if you have suggestions, let me know. All right, I'm not going to worry about the equipment. It's there. 10 darts, boom. Load it in your brain. But to keep things moving so that we can explore what this subclass is and does. Unarmored defense. +10 dex plus whiz. We get martial arts, and that's already reflected by martial arts there. We get a use of ki that we can use in 4 different ways. Flurry of blows, patient defense, and step of the wind. And we are going to get to do a stun strike eventually. So we're peeking a little bit ahead. Shh, don't tell anyone. We already have our unarmored movement accounted for. Our monastic tradition we're going to get to here shortly. Now we're also going to get to deflect missiles. Our ASI, well, we're not getting ASIs in the raw stat bump form. We're going to select 4 feats to give to her instead. You're welcome to, Ember. We're not quite there though, so if you keep them in mind, if you list them now, I might not remember it when we get there. We're also going to get slow fall, an extra attack. There's stunning strike. Ki empowered makes us have magical attacks. Evasion. Stillness of mind. Purity of body. Bugs are just so hard to kill. Oh my goodness. Then we're going to get Tongue of the Sun and Moon. We understand all spoken languages, and any creature can understand us. Then we get Diamond Soul. We get proficiency in all saving throws, so we're going to come back and fill this in. And int, whiz, and charisma, we're going to get at advantage because we're a gnome. This is bonkers, everyone. Then we're going to get Timeless Body. Your ki sustains you, so you suffer none of the frailty of old age, and you can't be aged magically. You can still die of old age, however. In addition, you no longer need food or water. And you know what? She's old, but she looks like she's whenever this took place. And we're not quite there for an empty body. Alright, so This is just, pardon me, this is straight up monk stuff. All monks get this. Our monk in particular now, our way of the astral self, what is going to set this monk apart? We get arms of the astral self. At 3rd level, your mastery of your key allows you to summon a portion of your astral self. On your turn, you can spend 2 key points as a bonus action to summon the arms of your astral self for 10 minutes. These spectral arms hover near your shoulders. You determine the arm's appearance based on the qualities of your character. While your astral arms are summoned, you gain the following benefits. You could use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength modifier when making strength checks and strength saving throws. The arms are monk weapons and have a reach of 10 feet. The arms deal radiant or necrotic damage, your choice. When you attack with the arms, you can use your wisdom modifier instead of your strength or dexterity modifier for the attack and damage rolls. Immediately after you use the attack action with your astral arms on your turn, you can make 1 extra attack with your astral arms as a bonus action. The number of extra attacks increases when you reach certain levels in this class, increasing to 2 at 11th and 3 at 17th. So that's the one we're looking at because we're genning up a 17th level character. So we'll actually get 3 extra attacks. You need to get some sleep. Dark Wolf, have a great night, and it was awesome to see you at the theater tonight. No, I'm not going to write all the bullet points, pardon me, because this is just going to refer to arms of the astral self. They manifest around us, and they do wibbly-wobbly things for us. I could argue, I mean, Dex could give us a higher armor class, but we could just have more of a mental monk than a physical monk. At level 6, we get the Visage of the Astral Self. Starting at 6th level, you can summon the Visage of your Astral Self. On your turn, you can spend 1 key point as a bonus action, or as part of summoning your Astral Arms, to summon this Visage for 10 minutes. The Spectral Visage covers your face like a helmet or mask. You determine its appearance based on the qualities of your character. While your Visage is summoned, you gain the following benefits. Wisdom of the Spirit. You have advantage on all Wisdom Insight and Charisma Intimidation checks. Astral Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. Visage of the Astral Self. Yes, because the arms are monk weapons. Monk weapons are things like quarterstaffs, short swords, spears, and the like. They don't just have to be fists, because they're monk weapons, technically. So if you want an arm with a sword, there you go. At 11th level, we get Awakening of the Astral Self. Starting at 11th level, you tap into the greater power of your astral self. While you have both your astral arms and Visage summoned, you gain the following benefits. Deflect energy. When you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or force damage, you can use your reaction to deflect it. When you do so, the damage you take is reduced by 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier plus your monk level. Empowered arms. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a target with your astral arms, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your martial arts die. And lastly, Word of the Spirit. When you speak through your Visage, You can direct your words to a creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you, making it so only that creature can hear you. Alternatively, you can amplify your voice so that all creatures within 600 feet can hear you. Talk about that tongue of sun and that tongue of sun and moon. And then lastly, we have the complete astral self. Starting at 17th level, your connection to your astral self is complete. And remember, levels 17 through 20, those are your epic levels in 5th edition. On your turn, you can spend 10 key points as a bonus action to summon the arms, visage, and body of your astral self for 10 minutes. This spectral body covers your physical form like a suit of armor, connecting with the arms and visage. You determine its appearance based on the qualities of your character. While your astral self is summoned, you gain the following benefits. Arbor of the Spirit, you get a +2 bonus to AC. While you're not incapacitated, pardon me. Astral Barrage, whenever you use the extra attack feature to attack twice, you can instead attack 3 times using your astral arms. And Key Consumption, when a creature within 10 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to regain hit points or key points equal to your wisdom modifier. And this is how we can continue to farm key points to keep spamming attacks. Throw a bunch of minions here, bunch of fists go and, you know, just one-shot goblins and kobolds and all these other minion stuff. Sorry, Shukan, cover your ears if you're out there. You harvest them as key points to keep doing ridiculous monk stuff. I'm not familiar with that title of Weiss Schnee, Black Wolf. Seems a bit OP. I don't necessarily think so. I mean, if you can further define what you think is overpowered. What's another Ruby reference? It's another Ruby thing. The W in Ruby stands for Weiss. Oh, okay. So here we have this, you know, depending on when she ended up getting this, Diamond Soul or the Timeless Body, she might be old, right? She might be, 300? We rolled, 345 years old. She may very well look like she's 30 or whatever, a young adult, or even just a regular adult, because her body just stopped, not chronologically aging, but stopped physically aging. We have an ambitious noble knight. I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry about that. I don't mean to make you yawn out there. It's not that I'm disinterested. It's just been a day. But we have a very ambitious, a very selfish person who wants to be the one who rules, and she is trained and she's worked hard. She, despite being a monk, she can just summon armor. And you know, and these astral arms are her weapons, and you know, it's, and she has this 10-foot reach also. Ooh. Ruby's a cartoon by Rooster Teeth. Yes, it is. It's one of them there Chinese cartoonies, ain't they? All right. Maybe it's not OP. Just some of the skills seem really powerful, like seeing through magical darkness and controlling your voice and such. I'm no expert, so I don't know how common that stuff is. It's not too common. I don't think they're necessarily overpowered. Now it's time to drop the standard array into our character. I definitely think that wisdom would be the 15. We'd probably drop a 14 in dex. A 13, because she grew up, she was trained. A 13 in intelligence. A 12 in charisma. A 10 in constitution. And I think an 8 in strength. Yeah, I agree, Ember. Now, if you want to spread her stats out differently, let me know. I think this is a good... for who she is. I'm not just basing this on one aspect, like, well, she's a monk or whatever. Based on this... I think we have a powerful reason to make her smart, to make her at least somewhat charismatic. And if we add in our racial modifiers, we have an 11 constitution. We have a 15 intelligence. We have a 15 wisdom and a 12 charisma. Now, normally, we would get to distribute 8 points into this character as we see fit. However, because we rolled so high in the chart, we're going to be replacing the standard ability score improvement with a feat. And so we're going to get to take 4 feats. And some of those feats might bump up a score, and others may not. We're going to go to chapter 6, and of course, feats are optional. Your DM might choose not to play with them. Now let's see. I think someone said observant. Quick to notice details of your environment. You gain the following benefits. Increase your intelligence or wisdom score by 1 to a maximum of 20. If you can see a creature's mouth while it is speaking a language you understand, Tongue of Sun and Moon would combo with that. You can interpret what it's saying by reading its lips, and you have a +5 bonus to your passive perception and investigation. I think observant would work, especially for someone who does fight on the battlefield as well as in the courts of nobles. So let's give her observant, and we can probably drop that that wisdom here and make it a 16. I can explain each one. Oh, there we go. The feats you're thinking. Well, if you want to explain linguist, but she's already going to understand all languages and be understood by all languages. Skilled and healer. I mean, if you want to explain linguist, please do. I'm open to skilled and healer as well, Ember. Skulker could be interesting. Sentinel would be very interesting. I forgot monks could do that. Secondly, it was to write ciphers for her days in the army. Well, so in this case, Ember, as a dungeon master, I would probably just do something like I would give that to her for free, given her station and her age. So if you need to manifest it mechanically, then, then maybe what would happen, you could propose this to your DM, say, look, I'm going to take Linguist, and when I get Tongue of Sun and Moon, would you allow me to turn the languages into skills if I promise to roleplay into those skills? That way you don't feel like there's anything wasted for just half of a feat that is kind of niche itself. So in that case, instead of just taking that, I would say, sure, you know a military cipher or a royal cipher. You have your scroll of pedigree. You have your signet ring, which might have a little decoder. Oh, well, do its best for you, Black Wolf. Mobile would be interesting because that'll increase our speed even more. I want to avoid Lucky because that's just so universally applicable. We made one character that, by his creation, was just absolutely the product of the most fortune one could hope to have. And it worked out that Lucky would actually be a good choice for that character, but otherwise I try and ignore Lucky. Keen Mind would be good for a battlefield. You keep track of the time, you keep track of direction, you can recall anything you've seen or heard in the past month. I think Keen Mind would be another good one. That'd bring int up to a 16. Alright, so you think for skilled, deception, perception, and calligrapher's tools. Hey, Certain Victory. As I'm doing this just based off of the player's handbook, to tie this supplement back to a core rulebook and not a splat book, I am not including racial feats because they don't appear in the player's handbook. That's not a bad consideration for all of you out there. There are racial feats for gnomes. Though, for this exercise, we're adding Unearthed Arcana onto just the player's handbook. So, yeah, deception for working through the courts, even on the battlefield. Perception, I think, for something similar. And calligrapher's tools to make nice notes. You know what? I could agree with that. Let's give her skilled and go deception, perception, and calligrapher's tools. Now, would you want the healer kit to, if we went retainers, would she take the healer kit then to keep her retainers up? Yep, stay tuned, Black Wolf. Oh, I lost my sound. My headphones died, everyone. Let's plug them back in. I kind of like Mage Slayer. You know, a lot of people in knightly or courtly positions, or especially if she's manifesting these arms to take out people in combat, really, I think that the only people she'd have difficulty with would be magic users. I think I could see her as a Mage Slayer. Creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the creature. When you damage a creature that is concentrating on a spell, that creature has disadvantage on the saving throw, and you have advantage on saving throws against spells cast by creatures within 5 feet of you. Makes us even more resilient. Mage Slayer could be a lot of fun. Right? She wants to attain power, and for many, who's more powerful than those who can wield magic? Whether it be through a faith, through the study of arcane arts, even those who make pacts, wink, with other beings. Hey, Big Sam. And in fact, I hide a truly scandalous secret. We were talking about blackmail earlier. What if the person blackmailing her is some kind of a diviner that has this knowledge, and so she's going to kill this person? I think Mage Slayer would be really good here. How many times will a spell be cast up close? You know, so any of the cone effects, like Thunder Wave, Shocking Grasp, you know, if it's a inflict wounds, although I think that's a roll to hit. She can actually, she has a 10-foot reach because of her arms, her astral arms that are summoned to fight kind of for her instead. And she also just moves incredibly quickly. So I don't really think she needs ranged, because she can be ranged and melee at the same time. Hey, Wist. Yeah, we did give her Observant. We absolutely did. West River Rat, welcome. Shukan called it. All right, so with this, we're now going to fill in. We have a -1 strength. We're going to fill in our ability score, or our ability mods. 2 dex, 0 con, 3 int, 3 wisdom, 1 charisma. Oh, it's fine, Big Sam. You can read along as I'm filling this stuff in. So strength is at a +5. Athletics is at a -1. Dex is an 8. Everything else are 2s. Con is a 6. Int is a 9. So is history, except when it comes to magical stuff, because she's a rock gnome. Everything else are 3s. Wisdom save is going to be a 9, with 3s in the other skills that aren't proficient. She doesn't have proficiency in it. And there's a cat. Hi. Hi, bud. A 7 here, and a 1 elsewhere. Her passive perception, then, is going to be... it would be a 19 normally. With Observant, that's going to bring it up to a 24. Armor class with unarmored defense is going to be 15. And her initiative is going to be at a +2. Yes, Shukan. So expertise in perception will absolutely bleed over into your passive perception. Yeah, Black Wolf. That's actually what I use. It's not too powerful, Shukan. I mean, obviously it's a specialty build, but if someone sacrificed other things to get it, then why not give it to him? Hey, Tamarick, welcome. Yeah, potentially you might not miss traps. However, that's up to you. You know, not all traps might be able to be seen passively. You might have to actively look for them. Alright, now let's get to her hit points. At level 1, she gets all 8 of her D8 hit points. For her 16 other levels of her 17 in total, she gets 5, which is half plus 1. It's the average. Now, if you want to roll it, that's up to you and your DM. I like taking the average, though. Then for all 17 levels, she gets bonus hit points equal to her Constitution modifier, which in this case is 0. So this is going to be some easy math. We're going to come back this way. We're going to delete this. Then we have 0, so we have 80. We have 88 hit points. 88 hit points at level 17. Hey, Emmy Rabbit, welcome. With our martial arts, if we're attacking off of dex, which we don't have to do because of our ability and our wisdom, but this would end up being, if it was off of dex, it'd be an 8, it'd be a 9 with wisdom. To save against our key effects, it is proficiency plus wisdom, so 9, plus that floating 8 that is found within all saves. So 17 to resist our key effects. You know, we need to choose now. Does she have position of privilege or does she have retainers with her? I almost want to say she's going to have position of privilege. Because she alone wants to... attain power. She knows people and people know her. I don't think she needs support per se because she's made it to this stage. Though, of course, I mean, Rytel, anyone else out there, if you want to say... I think, let's go retainer as the background feature. And look at it this way, that's fine as well. Though she's really coming across to me more of a selfish position of privilege person. I do agree, West River Rat. And you know what? She needs a name. We haven't given her a name, and we've developed a very awesome character otherwise. You know, it doesn't need an animal companion or spells here. And here we have our first astral monk. We've explored how she came into these powers that could be tied to that terrible secret. That could also be, you know, there was kind of a devil's deal that was made to get power. And what is due, because now we have a barbarian, a wild soul barbarian that's exploring something very similar, which then in the aggregate, once we get all the party members together, that will really do a good job of helping us decide on what kind of a story that we wish to run. Amazing how some characters take on a life of their own when you're developing. Exactly, West. And I hope you've been feeling that with this character. You know, she's struggled, she's learned, she's unlocked these techniques by perfecting her mind and reflecting on her body. And she just summons, like, she's a knight. She was trained to be a knight. But she would fight differently. She was a leader in that sense. And, you know, people would look at her and be like, look, she doesn't wear armor. How is she a knight? And then just starts glowing. She manifests her armor. With the astral arms, she can manifest weapons and all of this other stuff because her inner self is this strong, powerful, 7-foot-tall knight or whatever she dreams about. Maybe she dreams about being a 10-foot-tall male Goliath, and that's what her persona, Pokemon, Digimon is. Astral self. And so that's what just appears over her. It could just be that she wears something different. You know, just sort of a kind of a magical girl transformation, and she looks different because she's manifested her astral arms. Hi, Delcorin. So, Black Wolf, you're suggesting Arma Teal, because I'm just feeling a teal color because of the key, and Arma because of the arms. So in this case, can you tell me a little bit about the Teal family? Where is she getting the Teal name? Is it another family that's sort of indentured to the primary house? So everyone born into the Teals ends up becoming a retainer or a knight of some kind to the main branch family, or to the main family, not a branch family. Hey, Refry, welcome. How do you see that name working? Because I certainly don't mind. We can put Arma Teal. I have no problem with that. But I love asking that one extra question. Did I miss anything else here? Yes, she has a position of privilege, Big Sam. And what that means in terms of background mechanics. Let's go to Noble real quick. She is a knight. We took the knight variant, but she's getting the position of privilege. Thanks to your noble birth, people are inclined to think the best of you. You are welcome in high society, and people assume you have the right to be wherever you are. The common folk make every effort to accommodate you and avoid your displeasure, and other people of high birth treat you as a member of the same social sphere. You can secure an audience with a local noble if you need to. She also expresses herself in a neutral evil fashion, so she is more selfish, and so she's also very ambitious in her goals. Oh, sure, that works. That works. So it's a color-coded sort of branch family name. I'm fine with that, Black Wolf. But I wanted to explore. If we're going to create a world in which these characters exist, let's create the world. Let's give it reason. Why not? All right, so we have Arma Teal. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed building this character. I'm going to get up and walk around, get the blood flowing, drink something cold here. When we come back, we're going to make our second astral, a way of the astral self monk. We're going to start from the ground up, and we're going to build again. And we're going to have a 4-person party consisting of these 2 monks and these 2 barbarians, so that tomorrow, when we finish up our workshop week, I'm going to show you how we can have a functional team. We can have a functional team even though we have what appear to be major overlap. All right, so I'll see you back here again soon. All right, everyone?